What's up, Cowboy Nation? Thank everybody for tuning in. Just want to be able to touch on these few topics right quick. First and foremost, shout out to Amari Cooper. Shout out to, I'm going to say this again, shout out to Amari Cooper, and shout out to Dak Prescott. Those two guys being introduced to the Pro Bowl, or I guess inserted into the Pro Bowl is a lot. It's a lot, right? I want to be able to say this too. They both started off real rocky. I'm talking about they started off real rocky. For them to get to the level that they are at now, which is good. Cool. You know, everybody was saying at the beginning of the year, Dak Prescott is trash. He can't hit water if he fell off a boat. And they count him out for dead. It's like, put in Cooper Rush. Let's see Mike White. Let's make some trades. Let's get somebody else in there. And he was able to elevate his game with the help. I'm going to say with the help of Amari Cooper. And vice versa. Amari Cooper started off real rocky, real slow. A lot of people saying that he's a bust all of a sudden. He's a horrible pick for the Raiders, what have you. And just like the Carr brother, whatever his name, I keep on forgetting his first name, which is irrelevant at this point. He couldn't get the ball to Amari Cooper, you see. But now that Amari Cooper's on the Cowboys, Dak Prescott can give him the ball, right? So we got to look at it from a collective view. Shout out to those two brothers, man, for making it into the Pro Bowl. Now, we got 6 players in the Pro Bowl now, which is cool. Now, I'm still going to say I'm with the belief right here, which is the Pro Bowl. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of money. It's a waste of a whole bunch of things because you can get injured, stuff like that. And they play so lackadaisy anyway. I would want the Pro Bowl to be like this, just be an award ceremony. Because all we doing now is all of this Pro Bowl before the Super Bowl. I'm old school. I like the Pro Bowl after the Super Bowl. Y'all let me know. You guys let me know whether or not you would like to see the Pro Bowl after the Super Bowl opposed to it being in front of the Super Bowl. Because now you're getting everything inflated. It's helping out the players, believe it or not, because this is the thing. Now the players can look at it and say, well, hey, I'm a 3-time or I'm a 4-time Pro Bowler. But they don't never add in the fact that they are alternates. And that just dilutes the whole process. It inflates the whole entire deal as far as money. Meaning that now somebody can say on their resume, I'm a 2-time Pro Bowler. That's going to increase the money, to increase the funds. I know it's all fun and game, and I love Dak Prescott. But they better not say to themselves, I'm talking about Cowboy Nation, I'm talking about Stephen Jones and Jerry Jones and whoever it may be, when you start looking at players and say, okay, they're a Pro Bowl caliber or they're a Pro Bowl player, let's pay them like that. That's cause to pause for me because it inflates the number when you're being added in as a guy to be added in because somebody else refuses to go because they didn't make it to the Super Bowl or they made it to the Super Bowl and they can't go. You know, so it's one of those things. It's like a conundrum, basically. But still, I give praises to Amari Cooper and Dak Prescott to getting there. But in the same breath, I'm saying, like, look, let's just scrap the whole Pro Bowl situation. Let's just scrap that out, you know. But that's a story of a different day. I'm gonna talk about that on another day. This is another thing that I really want to touch base on, and this is another thing that I really want to bring home to, is that now the NFL is talking about changing up the rulings on pass interference because it happened to the Saints, right? And now they want to change up the rules. News out here today is that the NFL Player Competition Committee is saying this right here. Let's make it a challengeable call, meaning PI, you know, is all subjective, whether or not a guy got there before he got there, whether or not he used the arm bar technique, or whether or not he faded and then turned his head around and still bumped the receiver off, or incidental contact, whether or not it's subjective. The game is so long already. All they had to do against that LA Rams versus the Saints game is just use common sense. When they replayed when they did the replay naturally, they can throw the doggone flag then, and they could have said, "Look, incidental contact, no. We saw a hit on a defenseless player. We saw a helmet to helmet. We saw him hit the ball. We saw him dog near get hit before the ball got there. We just gonna call pass interference." I would rather for them to just own up to their words versus trying to make a whole entire foolery out of the situation. We know about this stuff already. Cowboy Nation, we know everything about this. We went, what, 3 years, 4 years later, then all of a sudden the NFL said, oh, Dez really did catch the ball, you know, that type of stuff. So it's one of those things, Cowboys. Let me see what we got over here. We says Romo should get hired as an offensive coordinator. This is from, shout out to you, I can't really see your name on this thing. I'm doing it from my phone. The notion for Romo being an offensive coordinator, what plays he was going to pull up for one. Tony Romo was always an ad-libber. He played on the fly. You know, he did things on his own. He made adjustments. He created plays on his own. But this is what I would say. If Tony Romo do not want to do broadcasting no more, he should be a defensive coordinator. He'll be a great defensive coordinator. And here's why. He can call out the freaking defense. He knows exactly what the offense is trying to do before it occurs, right? So he can call the defensive plays and say, okay, I want the safety to come down a little bit closer into the line. And I want this particular free safety to back up a little bit further. I want this particular guy to make adjustments because this is what they should try to take away. Tony Romo will make one hell of a defensive coordinator opposed to an offensive coordinator. He will have that defense humming. I'm telling you, he would. But as far as offense, unless he's coaching up another Tony Romo out there on the field, that's the only thing that I would say that he probably would do well at. You know, unless it's another guy like a gunslinger or a guy who can ad-lib a little bit and they can communicate with him. I think that he'll work wonders in that spot. Yes. Yeah, Tyron Smith. Somebody said Tyron Smith shouldn't be there in the Pro Bowl. I mean, he didn't play Pro Bowl caliber. But we as Cowboys with our Cowboys goggles, we'll say, yeah, Pro Bowl, you know. But to me, he didn't play up to the level of Pro Bowlish, you know. But that's a story of a different day. Not to throw down Tyron Smith. Shout out to him, you know. Hopefully I can meet up with him this offseason. We can talk about a little small things, right? So Tyron Smith, I think LVE is in there. You guys give me the whole list of people, man, because I think it's about 6 players. And I do know that they just added, you know, of course, Amari Cooper and Dak Prescott and some other guy. Byron Jones, he made it. So we'll see how this thing all unfolds. All we got to do now is look forward towards the Senior Bowl. Check out my guy, Foots the King and Voch Lombardi. They're going to have a plethora of players that they're going to take a real good look at, and they're going to be going over the tapes, and I'll be with my clip notes in my study pad and just looking at those guys too. Also, when I do the show later on tonight, please help a brother out. Put down the players that we should really take a look at in the comment box. The really players that we may have a chance on in the late second and the third and the fourth. Think about this. Although we picking in the second round, collectively and technically, that second round pick is sort of like a third round pick because we're picking so far back in the second round that we're going to be pretty much looking at third round graded players unless we move up a little bit to get a guy that can be explosive, get a guy that can chase out to the ball, or get a guy that's on offense that can win off his release and things like that. So we may have to will and deal. I trust Will McClay. I'm not going to question the man and his pickings and what have you. I think that Will McClay, Stephen Jones, and Jerry Jones are going to make a wonderful decision as it relates to drafting. But we can still take a look under the hood and see what's going on. So with all that being said, I really appreciate everybody for tuning in to the nation. Don't forget to hit that like button, share this content if you like, and tell a friend, neighbor, or foe where they can go to find the information to help grow the nation. Guys, I can't say this enough. Let's just take this thing one day at a time, one evaluation at a time, and of course, we will see what we're going to see next year. Kellen Moore as the offensive coordinator. I think they're going to make the announcement soon, later on down the line this week. And then, of course, they got John Kitna back there. It may not be as bad as we perceive it to be, right? It may can work things out. That's all it takes, right? Just one day at a time, one player evaluation at a time, and these sort of things. And speaking of time, that's been mine. I really thank you for yours. And remember, you're listening to Nothing But the Bass. Salute. I'm out. Peace. Appreciate you all. I love you all, man. Peace.